Hello, Sarah Sabin, Executive Leadership and Intuition Coach here. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about pain now versus pain later. In other words, we can't avoid pain. Sorry. So, as humans, we are wired to take short-term gains over something that we have to wait for. So I recently did a video on delayed gratification and the benefits of training yourself to pick delayed gratification over short-term gratification. So if you're interested, please do go off and watch that. But basically, and especially in the modern world, this has been encouraged. We want to get the quick wins because that gives us a dopamine hit and that spikes our motivation and happiness levels temporarily. But in business, we need to actually take the long-term view, not the short-term view. So in other words, sometimes we make decisions that are painful in the short term so that we can benefit from it in the long term. But this mindset doesn't come easily. You have to train it. And here are a couple of analogies to really demonstrate the point. So it's very common in the workplace that people use AI to make their lives easier, especially for doing things like research, gathering data, gathering sources, etc. Now, if you do not know how to use AI properly, and if you do not train AI properly, it is full of pitfalls. I cannot emphasize this enough. Things like ChatGPT will very frequently give you completely made up facts, made up data, and made up statistics. With the current empathy filter, it is literally trained to agree with you. Again, quite dangerous if an AI is literally trying to please you and it's like, great, let's just make up some facts and send them over. So you have to diligently verify and cross-check everything. And this is actually a conversation that I was having recently with a client, or a former client, in fact, but she had used AI to do some data research. She'd asked for various statistics and data on a particular topic, and ChatGPT consistently gave her the wrong data and the wrong facts. And when she asked for the source links didn't match the data. So people use AI hoping that it will give them a short-term win. So they'll avoid some pain in the short term by not spending hours data collecting and fact-checking. But the reality is, if they are not doing the work to check the AI, this is literally storing up problems for later down the line. So you're going to feel the pain later if you've been putting out reports that are inaccurate. So that's one example of it. Another example that is very common is Ozempic. Again, with weight loss or getting your ideal body, whatever you want to call it, you can pick pain now or pain later. Let's say you pick Ozempic and you're like, great, I take this, the weight drops off, happy days. You do not know, and again, by you, this also includes the medical world because we don't have full insight into all of the potential health consequences that might happen later down the road with Ozempic. So there's that, but also the fact that you have not really made the sustainable life changes you need to do to make the weight loss permanent. So you are going to be on this pill for the rest of your life. And as I said, you don't know the individual and collective side effects really in depth of taking this pill. So you're essentially picking the pain later option versus the pain now, where you get to the gym, you do exercise, you move more, you eat well, and you build up those sustainable habits that are going to maintain your weight for the long term. But of course, it is much easier to take a pill. So again, why am I telling you this? Because as executives, you need to ask yourself the question with decisions that you make, strategies that you implement. Is this going to cause pain now, but later down the road, it's going to have multiple benefits? Or is this the easy option now, the quick fix, Band-Aid, which is going to lead to far more problems down the line? So it's the equivalent of kicking the can down the road. When you are making important decisions, I really encourage you to ask yourself that question.